as well this afternoon with the brilliant BT Sport score team, including 2 London derbies for you. Chelsea's clash with West Ham at Stamford Bridge and also Tottenham against Fulham today. Newcastle will try to respond to that heartbreak inflicted by Liverpool when they take on Palace at St James's, and tonight Villa face City and Erling Haaland, who will probably be fancying a third hat-trick in a row. Tomorrow, Arsenal, who haven't dropped a point yet, are up against Manchester United at Old Trafford. So that draw then means Liverpool move up to 5th, but the concerning thing for them is they have only won 2 of their opening 6 games. They've already dropped 9 points in those matches. And for Everton, things looking a bit better. They're up to 14th in the table after 4 draws in a row, but that is a very good point in this derby. They, Wolves and Leicester, the only side still without a win this season. And if you love podcast honours, even in a thoroughly entertaining Merseyside derby here at Goodison Park, 0-0 it finished. Jordan Pickford refusing to let anything get past him today, but Alisson also excellent at the other end. Peter, Duncan and Rio with me. Does a draw feel about fair after that, Rio?
Yeah, I would say so. I think Liverpool had the better, clearer chances, hit the woodwork 3 or 4 times over the course of the game. I think Liverpool would be frustrated at the end. I don't think they played particularly well. As Crouchy said, not great control of the game, what you usually expect with Liverpool, but they didn't have that luck in front of goal, and they unfortunately sometimes these days happen where you play against a goalkeeper where nothing's going to go past him, and Pickford today, 8 saves today, excellent form and some big moments. Yeah, he was brilliant. You know him so well. Why does he always seem to step up in these big games?
He's a big game player, isn't he? He's obviously done it for England as well, so he's got that experience at that level. He was absolutely fantastic today, wasn't he? But I don't think it was just about Everton's goalkeeper today. I think Everton did very, very well. Jordan was winning it, a part of that, and he made a lot of great saves, and he did keep them in the game at the right time. How good a performance was it from him, Peter?
Well, I think he gets a lot of criticism, doesn't he? And for whatever reason, he's made big errors at times, but he's still a top-class goalkeeper. I think he proved it today. And for me, the way he's played today, especially, is the reason why he's England's number 1. Some of those saves were world-class. They really were.
In a World Cup, this sort of performance is exactly what he needs.
Yeah, there'd be one man outside of Liverpool would be rubbing his hands together thinking, continue this type of form, let's go off Southgate, because you need your goalkeeper. If you're going to do anything or win or have big performances and big games and results, you need your goalkeeper to be performing, because today they weren't.
This was the one.
This was the best one.
I think some of them were straight at him and you'd expect him to make it, but that one was so late in the game.
Incredible save, that one, wasn't it?
You thought at that point Liverpool were going to do it again late in the game, didn't you?
You felt like the last 5-10 minutes they were applying pressure, and you just think like Salah had moments in that last 10 minutes where you thought, why couldn't you just do that in the first half? And it's another criticism that's going to be labelled at Liverpool is starting badly, because it just didn't look like they started well at all.
This is the lowest points tally under Klopp since he's been here, so it tells you that things aren't firing on all cylinders at the moment. Yes, they've got a lot of injuries, but they've got to find a way of starting well, for one, but finishing games off.
What's missing then?
I think injuries play a big part. You can't go away from that factor. The midfield has been it's depleted of the starters. And Henderson went off in the week, again, hamstring injury as well. So that area of the pitch, he's not been able to put his first choice 3 in there. So that's a big part of it. But again, you've got to still be able to deal with that. And they've had injuries over the years in recent times, and they've dealt with it. But Salah not firing on all cylinders at the moment. Normally you have Salah or Mane been doing that, and obviously Mane's not here. Salah's not firing yet, and it is difficult. But again, they're a team that they're going to season.
And he made the decision to take both fullbacks off just before the hour. Do you think that was purely just because of the Champions League?
No, I feel like that was pre-planned. It was on the 60th minute, and I felt like the way they took them both off at the same time, I felt like it was pre-planned, and Jurgen Klopp was looking towards the Champions League.
Strange that, I thought.
Yeah.
Taking off 2 good players, didn't they, really? He puts Milner at right back. I thought, up against Anthony Gordon, I think when they made the changes, I think Liverpool went back a wee bit. They weren't as good as what they were. Obviously taking off Trent, who's a top player. So I was surprised with their changes, to be honest, yeah.
Yeah, they needed Alisson, Liverpool today, to step up as well, and he certainly did that. It wasn't just Jordan Pickford who had a good game, Peter.
Yeah, it was funny, because with Jordan Pickford and Alisson, they're different characters. You can see, obviously, Alisson's so much calmer when he makes a save. He's not shouting and screaming, but But with this one, I just think for both saves that he made, I think a lot of keepers go down a lot earlier than...
Actually, are you waiting for him to go down there if you're...
I don't think you can, because he stands. Even with this one, this takes 2 deflections. Most keepers go early, and it goes in. But the fact it's 2 deflections and he can still get there, he moves his feet because he's calm and he's unflappable.
I think the first chance Mopai's got to finish that first time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He comes back in there, it's right in his way, just put it in the
We were screaming in here.
It was a great save, but you've got to hit that first time in there.
Yeah, I agree.
How pleased are you with the Everton performances and the way you're seeing them improve week on week? Obviously that first win still isn't there, but does it feel like it's just around the corner?
Yeah, I think it does. I think there's Everton did well today. It was a good clean sheet. So yeah, it's something for Frank to keep on building on. I think they're a wee bit worried they're not scoring goals. They're not scoring as much goals as they should be. I think once they get back the big striker, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I think they'll be in better shape.
It's not far away as well.
I believe he's only a few weeks away, so that'll be good for him, because really I thought, in another day with Dominic in there, they scored a couple of goals there and they counter-attacking opportunity.
Frank Lampard very happy with the progress Everton are making, a point in that derby, and he's got every right to be pleased, hasn't he? He also mentioned that offside goal, Duncan, which was a close moment. Connor Cody, who grew up a Red, thought he was going to be a blue hero forever.
A local lad there, gets himself in a good position, doesn't he? Just at that back of the post. Just goes a wee bit early. I'm not sure if he can hold his run a bit more. But he's in there, and just a nice little tap, and he's a shoulder out, I think.
And you wondered as well, after the adrenaline of that moment, Peter, how Everton were going to respond to the letdown of that VAR decision, but they stood up for the rest of the game.
Yeah, they did, and they did that whole game. I thought Frank spoke really well about they're knowledgeable fans here, and I think you can see that they're building something. I thought the Gay and Onana in midfield were fantastic. They're 2 good signings, crucial signings. I think the only issue is goals, and sometimes when you're sitting in the stand, you become more important to the team. And I think Calvert-Lewin is a huge miss in this team, and when they get him back, it'll be a big moment for them.
I think one of the big things as well around the stadium, what you feel now is optimism. I mean, Frank came in here and it's a relegation battle. Big Dunk was there last season.
Do you not feel like they're going to be a side anywhere near a relegation battle this season?
I think when the first ball of the season was kicked, before the transfer window was closed, I think people would have been very, very kind of... Everton are one of my favourites to be in and around the relegation battle. Once the transfer window finished and the work was done with Frank, I think there's optimism now. And I think this type of performance and Leeds away, going into this game, has very much lifted the place.
It's a tough run of fixtures coming up, though, isn't it? They've got 4 of the so-called top 6 in their next 6 games. Tough matches.
The way Arsenal next one, isn't it?
And then West Ham to come Man United in there.
Yeah, they're tough ones, yeah. Look, they're all tough games, but I think Frank will be really happy with the performance over the last 2 or 3 games. Great clean sheet today. So they're definitely moving in the right direction. Of course, coming in last year and saved the cup for relegation was a good success. Now hopefully they can kick on, and push for that mid-table towards Europe, I would think. He's got himself 8 players in, so there's a good team. They look a good team. So
you're feeling optimistic, Duncan?
I do, will always do, because I think there's a good team out there. I don't see Everton as a relegation team.
It was a first clean sheet of the season as well. Do you think he's going to stick with that back 4?
I think when your team is starting to improve, then you kind of stick with what you got. I don't think you can shuffle it back too much anyway, because you've got Mason Holgate and Ben Godfrey, the 2 other players that will be vying for them 2 centre-half positions. So at the moment, he's going to stay the same, I would say. But I think more importantly, he'll be looking and going to Dominic Calvert-Lewin and say, when are you going to be fit? Get here quick, because these guys, yes, they're defending, but they're under pressure for long periods in the games, and there's only so much you can defend like that and keep teams out. When you've got a little bit more up front, then teams can't really go on the front. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin will give them that little edge up front, where teams might have to take a step back rather than being right up against them and putting that back 4 under immense pressure.
What did you think of Nathan Patterson today, Duncan?
Thought he did well. Yeah, good energy, good player going forward, really good. And he's a decent defender as well, isn't he? But I thought he gave Everton a bit of threat there down that side. But a good player, young player, plenty of potential, he can go far.
For Liverpool, Peter, do they look like a team who are going to make a push for the title this season? Yeah,
you'd expect so. There's enough talent in there. There's no need to panic, just yet. But it's not been a great start. I think we can't dress that up. But having said that, missing Keita, Henderson, Thiago, Jones is a huge part of that midfield. But we're not making excuses. It's not been the start that you would expect from Liverpool. They are better than what they've shown so far.
They just don't look the same, do they? There's something missing. Something missing with them. Mane, well, yeah, big man, that could be right. There's just something missing there, and that little spark up front. They're not clinical as they were before, and they're not making the nice penetrating runs they used to do. Not as much anyway.
I think that's a great point. Them runs are penetrating runs from outside to in, from the two wide players especially, to support the centre forward. That's a big threat that they aren't actually doing as much, and the ball's not being played, or is it that they're not running as much in there? So they've got to work that out. There's a few things to work out, but the midfield area, I think, is a real critical area for them.
Countless times as well, Mane's come up trumps in these types of games where it's been really tight, when they've been backs against the wall. He's
really
come
missing
up
him.
trumps. And yeah, I'd say they're missing him, but hindsight's a wonderful thing. Nunes will come good, I'm sure.
Do you think they will be in a title race this season?
Well, listen, you have to look at the last couple of years, and they've been right amongst it. And in terms of raising the bar in the Premier League in terms of points won, they're right up there with Man City. So that would suggest that they'll be in there. But again, you can't afford to let this Man City team get too far away at the moment. What is it? Is it 8 or 9 points? What is it? It's crazy. You can think right now that
Seven
could be
too
too
much
much.
and 5 behind City. Yeah.
So you just think, well, listen, can they maintain a push and get back up there? I think they will, but they need the injuries to come back and get some consistency in terms of personnel in that team.